Hello, and welcome to the Children Beyond Our Borders Bound for Peace Service Trip Information Session for the 2014-2015 year. Children Beyond Our Borders is a nonprofit organization that was established in 2003 by 4 UF undergrad students from Colombia who wanted to help build better futures for children around the world. The children we work with face social injustices in their country. 1 in 9 people in Colombia is internally displaced. Nicaragua is the second poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere, and almost 30% of the people in Ecuador live below the poverty line. We work with the children in these countries because they can be denied access to good, safe schools or alternative forms of education, and thus are not given the opportunity to reach their full potential. We help these children by creating awareness of the social injustices that they face in their communities. We provide educational tools through the workshops we do with them on these service trips, and we build lasting relationships with these kids by being role models and support systems for them. This year, we have trips to Managua, Nicaragua, Cartagena, Medellín, and Pasto, Colombia, and Quito, Ecuador. Each trip creates a series of workshops for the kids they work with. They all have topics like self-esteem, bullying, goal setting, self-care. All topics are meant to help these children feel empowered and build a better future for themselves. The prices for all trips include flight, housing, transportation, all meals, all excursions, and a service and materials fee. We have 8 different trips for the 2015 season. A list of these trips with the dates and prices can be found on our website at chbob.org. I will go through these now fairly quickly. Our first trip is UF Spring Break to Medellín, Colombia. In Medellín, we work with a foundation called Fundación Lazos Unidos, where we work with around 150 kids that are living in this children's home. Medellín is a large city, so the excursions you will be going on will be to see the city and learn a little bit more about Colombian culture. Our second trip is UF Spring Break to Pasto, Colombia. In Pasto, we work with an organization called Fundación María de Nazaret. Pasto is a smaller town, and most of the excursions that you will be doing will be outside. Our third trip is UF Spring Break to Managua, Nicaragua. In Managua, we work with a foundation called Fabretto. Fabretto is a school for impoverished children, so you will be working in their classrooms with them. Managua is a good mix of indoor and outdoor activities, city and ecological trips. Our fourth trip is for UCF Spring Break students to Cartagena, Colombia. In Cartagena, we work with an organization called Fundación Granitos de Paz. Cartagena is on the coast of Colombia, so you will be doing outdoor and beach-like activities. The application deadline for all spring break trips is December 1st. This year, we have 2 sets of summer trips. We have 2 trips in May and 2 trips in August. Our first trip in May is to Managua, Nicaragua, which I already talked about a little bit. We work with Fabretto. Our second trip in May is to Cartagena, Colombia, where we work with Fundación Granitos de Paz. Our first trip in August is to Medellín, Colombia, where we work with Fundación Lazos Unidos. And our second trip in August is to Quito, Ecuador. For this trip, you have the option of picking 2 weeks or 1 month. The flights for this trip are a little bit more expensive, and that's why we are providing a 1-month option for this trip. The application deadline for all of our summer trips is February 9th. To apply for one of our Bound for Peace service trips, go to chbob.org. Once you apply, you have 3 days to secure your $200 deposit, which can be paid through PayPal on our website. This is to make sure that you are committed to us and going on a Bound for Peace trip. $175 of those dollars go toward your trip cost. If you are not accepted or decide shortly thereafter that you can no longer attend, $175 will be refunded. You will then have an interview with the service trip coordinators and your trip leader, and then you will get a call from our nonprofit director. The purpose of these interviews is to get to know you better and find out what experiences and knowledge you have that will contribute to the success of your trip. We will soon let you know if you have been accepted. Besides your application and interview, you will need a contract that we will go over with you at the first training session, a passport, a visa if you are not a U.S. citizen and need permission to travel to Colombia, Ecuador, or Nicaragua, an emergency contact in the U.S., and health insurance. If you have health insurance, you can check if you are covered internationally, and we would need a copy of your insurance card. If you do not have insurance, we use a company that provides temporary insurance coverage internationally for only around $15. Payments can be made either online through PayPal with a 3% service fee or with a check mailed to our P.O. box. Here are some frequently asked questions that may help you. What if I don't speak Spanish? That's okay, you don't need to speak Spanish to go on our trips. On our trip, you were paired with somebody who does speak Spanish and feels comfortable translating and explaining things to you. Also, love has no language. The kids will love you just as much, if not more, because you can't speak Spanish. Is Colombia, Nicaragua, Ecuador safe? Yes, these places are safe. Our trips are well established and we've been going since 2003. Your trip leader knows the area well and has been on a Bound for Peace trip before and will not lead you into an area that is dangerous. Also, the schools and homes where we work are intentionally founded in these areas where they are so that the children have a place they can live safely and walk to and from school. What if I have money issues? Our payments are run on a personalized payment plan that is suited to your needs of when you can make payments. We also do group fundraisers with the rest of your volunteers to raise money for your trip. And the best way to fundraise for your trip is to use our sponsorship letter. We give you a letter that explains exactly what we do on our trip, and you can send it to friends, family, and businesses. Anything they donate is tax deductible because we're a nonprofit. What if I have summer classes? That's okay. Our August trips don't interfere with summer or fall classes, so those would be the best options for you. I know someone who's interested who's not a student at UF or not a student at all. If they're not a student at UF, that's absolutely fine. The summer trips are created so that anybody can go if they have a break during summer. And you do not have to be a student at all to go on any of our trips. Are we going to have a break? Yes, absolutely you will. This trip is designated to be a service trip where our main purpose will be to help the people that we go to work with. But it's just as important to see these countries that you're going to visit and get to experience the culture of Colombia, Nicaragua, and Ecuador. So during the day and on the weekends, you will have time to explore the city with your group. That concludes our information session for the 2015 Bound for Peace service trips. You can find the dates and prices for the trips again at chbob.org. Our email, servicetripinfo@chbob.org, is also listed here. Please feel free to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you apply.